Welcome back, App Inventors. In this project we will create a simple desk calculator that has the following features. The operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are supported for positive or negative decimal numbers. The display in current calculation can be cleared with the C button. The currently displayed value can be cleared with the CE button. The last digits of the currently displayed value can be removed with the back arrow button. Divide by zero is supported gracefully. Basic data validation is utilized to reduce input errors. To perform running calculations, the following method may be used. To calculate 4 plus 3 times 10, where the answer is 70, you can perform an operation on two values at a time followed by the equals button. So 4 plus 3 equals times 10 equals. We can also change the sign. We can do additional calculations. We can divide by zero. Let's look at the editing functions. Okay, if we wanted to change that 5 to a 4, we would use the back arrow button. If we wanted to clear the display, we would use CE. If we're doing a calculation and decide we want to cancel it, we can use the clear button. We can use decimal points. And that's the basic functionality. So let's look at the designer screen viewer. This layout contains two key design elements. There is a label to display the calculator's output called display label. And there are a set of buttons that allow you to, each with a meaningful name, such as add button, one button, clear button, etc. Now, how you lay out these numbers, these digits, is up to you. I chose to use the cell phone layout where 1, 2, 3 is on top. You could use the standard calculator format where 7, 8, 9 is on top. These are arranged in this example inside a vertical screen arrangement. I have 5 horizontal screen arrangements, each with 4 buttons. Everything set to fill parent. And the outermost vertical arrangement is set to 320 pixels wide by 430 pixels high, and the screen is centered horizontally and vertically. So if this calculator is displayed on a tablet, it will be centered. Okay, so let's look at some features of the blocks viewer. A function of a simple calculator can be summarized in the following 4 steps. The user enters a number, an operator button is pressed, the user enters a second number, the equals button is pressed, and that causes the calculation to be performed and the result displayed. Okay, so let's see how that's done in this particular app. for step 1, where the user enters a number. The first number is entered when the user presses any of these digit buttons, 0 through 9, and that calls the build number procedure to add that digit to display label text. The second step is when an operator button is pressed. That's one of the 4 add, subtract, multiply, or divide buttons. The store first number and operator procedure saves the value entered into display label text. Here. And that goes into the first number global variable, and then the second number is entered in with the build number procedure again. That's step 3. Step 4, when the equals button is pressed, calculate procedure uses the global first number, global operator, and the second number stored in display label text to perform the calculation using one of these math arithmetic blocks to do the calculation. And the result is returned to and displayed with this set display label text block. Okay, let's go into a little bit more detail and see how this works. When any of the digit buttons are touched, their button click event block will call the build number procedure, which will add the digit to the number using the text join block. And as the number is being entered, the user could touch the decimal point button, in which case the decimal point button click event block would be triggered, and that requires that a test be made to see if there's already a decimal point in that number. If there is not a decimal point, then we need to make sure that there's a number there, because we cannot add a decimal point. We cannot use the decimal point as a number in itself. It needs to have some other digits associated with it. So if there's a number in there, we can just add or append a decimal point. If there is no number in there yet, we'll put a 0 in front of the decimal point. And this ensures that just not the single decimal point is used as a number, but you'll have at least one digit in there, and that will prevent an error. If the user touches the CE button, its associated clear error button click block would be triggered, and that would cause the display label text block to be set to empty text. If the clear button is clicked, then the clear button click block is triggered, which also clears the display label text block, but also sets first number and operator to empty text. It clears out any existing calculation values. If an error is made when typing in text, the back arrow key is used to remove that last digit. As long as the display label text is not empty, then we can remove the last digit using the segment block. Okay, if this plus minus button is clicked, then the change sign button click block is triggered. And what that does is negates the contents of the current text in this display. Clicking it when the number is negative makes it positive. When it's positive, it makes it negative. If any of the operator buttons are touched, their associated button click blocks are triggered. The store first number and operator procedure is then called, and a text symbol for the operator is passed to the procedure as an argument. So let's look at the add button example. So if the add button were clicked, then the plus symbol would be passed to this procedure. Store first number and operator then tests that display label text is a number, then stores the contents of display label text in global first number, and stores the value of the past operator and global operator. Once the user has entered a second number into the display label and pressed the equals button, its associated equals button click block is triggered, which checks that an operator symbol was saved. So that's here. And if that's the case, it calls the calculator procedure, which returns the result of the calculation to display label text. So calculate passes the first number, the operator, and the second number, which is in display label text, to calculate. The correct arithmetic operation is performed, and the result is returned to display label text. Okay. Once the user has entered that second number and pressed the equal button and the calculation is performed, the value that's stored in the result can be used in a second calculation as the first number. So that's what I showed earlier, when you can do a chain of calculations. 5 plus 6 equals 11. 11 plus 3 equals. So that 11 was used as the first number and the 3 was the second number. And that about covers it. That sums up the basic desk calculator. I hope you enjoyed viewing this video and enjoy working with this project. And I would like you to watch the link for the IA project file in the credits following the video. And as always, happy inventoring.